ready.
Welcome to another episode of Buff in the Rough. Today we'll hear from Jake Cumberledge about hunting in southeast Pennsylvania, Woodland Outdoors, what keeps him going back to the field, and a lot more. Help me welcome Jake to the program. Well, hey Jake, how are you doing?
I'm good, Sam. How about yourself, buddy?
Oh, I can't complain. Thanks so much for coming on. So happy to have you on. Known you for a while now, and I just know you're going to have some good tales to share, and I can't wait to hear you answer some of these questions. But before we get started, for the folks that maybe don't know who Jake Cumberledge is, could you tell us just a little bit about yourself and maybe how you got into rabbit hunting?
Yeah, I am Jake Cumberledge. I'm 29 years old. I was raised and live in Brave, Pennsylvania, which is it's about 20 minutes south of Waynesburg for everyone who's been to Waynesburg for either the World or one of their trials, kind of in between there and Morgantown. And I got started rabbit hunting. I was in middle school. I always had hounds. I grew up with coon hounds. My dad got me into those whenever I could walk. And when I was in middle school, I watched rabbit hunting on a TV show. I was like, man, that looks fun. I want to try that. And my dad, of course, said, no, I can't have a beagle. I got coon hounds. So a few years later, after bugging him, it turned into more of a ask for forgiveness than permission thing. And I brought home a beagle. He was not happy about that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of got started from there. Gun hunting, and that's all I wanted him for was the mainly gun hunt and kill rabbits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Jake, tell us a little bit about your coon dogs, kind of way back when. I mean, what kind of hounds were they?
Dad had black and tans. My dad and uncle had black and tans, and that's what I started with.
Nice.
And I ventured a little bit into the blue dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And then right before I got kind of out of it, I had walkers. So I had a little bit of everything, wise.
It's hard to beat the looks of a black and tan. I just think they're a beautiful hound.
I loved them. That's what Dad and my uncle had, and I fell in love with them. Loved their looks. Including you get one with the big old head and the long ears.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I loved them. But I dabbled with some of the other ones.
Well, you got into rabbit hunting. Could you tell us a little bit about? Now you said you're in Pennsylvania, kind of maybe the northern part.
Sir.
Is that right?
Southeastern.
Southeastern. Okay. Well, could you tell us a little bit about what the hunting conditions are like where you are, and maybe what type of hound it takes to be successful there?
We got a lot of just open field brush and fields, and not a lot of. That's about a lot of it. A lot of woods rabbits too.
Mm-hmm.
We got steep terrain for anybody who's seen it. So it is pretty hilly, mountainous area around here. To mainly have one be successful, just one with grub. I'd say we got a lot of nice thickets that they have to grub through. But then on some mornings, we also got a lot of rabbits that if you got one that can just run a clean track and can find a rabbit, they'll do all right. But mainly I'd say you just need a grub one that can run a rabbit good.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned your dad probably wasn't too thrilled with you bringing that first beagle home. So I don't know. I don't know how helpful he was to you in the beginning, but everybody's had people that have had an influence on them over the years. Could you talk about some of the people who have influenced you the most in this rabbit world?
The three biggest ones have been probably Steve Moore, Josh Ware, and Jason Vandergriff. Now, the past few years, Mitch Gould's helped me out a lot. And then I've also got a lot of help from Nick Brady and Katie Rucker. So I've been very fortunate to have a lot of good ones and help me. And because my dad had no clue about rabbit dogs. So all those names mentioned helped me out a lot, learn about them and figure out what it was. And how to train one, and everything that goes along with this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good group there. That's a pretty successful group. Yeah, that's good. Not surprised to hear some of those names. So tell me about some of your favorite hounds, the ones that you've hunted over the years that really stick out to you, that you had just the most fun with.
The three I've had the most fun with, we still got their old down. But the first one is my favorite one of all time so far has been champion, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion 2, Shenango White River Belle. I got her from Jason at a trial. He asked me if I wanted to try something crazy, and he was right. She was, oh wow. And I got her 9 months old, and she was, woo. But she has been my favorite. She kind of showed me what I want in a beagle and what style of beagle I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have had a lot of fun with she's now Grand Hunt Beagle Champion 2, Woodland's Blazing MJ, who me and Logan Hamilton own. She's about 5 now. We've had her since she was a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been a load of fun for us. And then me and Dad got one that we've had since a puppy. He's Grand Hunt Beagle Champion 2, PKC Champion, Woodland K Elmer Fudd. Those have been my probably 3 favorites that I've ever had. Now, I do get to hunt a lot with this. My neighbor has one I get to hunt a lot with and campaign some, and that's Heat 'em Up Hollywood. She's probably about 2 now, but she's got a bright future ahead of her. I'm very blessed to get to run her every once in a while. She's a blast. But that's probably the favorites that I've had in my time of being in this.
So Belle, MJ, and Fudd, Elmer Fudd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good
Yeah,
group.
they've been a lot of fun for us.
Well, so you competition hunt now, and I know you go to a lot of the big hunts. You've been successful, and you've hunted all over the country. I know you bound to have hunted with some hounds that really caught your eye. Or what are some of those best hounds out there that you've hunted against?
Oh man, there's so many. Probably the favorites I've ever seen have been Shenango White River Bill. He's probably been one of my favorites to ever watch go. Dog's done a lot of really great work.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that really blow your mind. I've seen him do. There was Heat 'em Up Hailstorm. I was fortunate to see her towards the end of her career, and she was a very fine hound. Oh man, I hate when you ask this question. Yeah, but Heat 'em Up Jake's been a good one I've seen go.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of so many.
Yeah, this question's a really tough one because you've hunted with some good hounds, and you're scared you're going to leave somebody out,
Exactly.
and then afterwards you'll be like, oh, I can't believe I forgot that hound, or that person and that hound. But
you listen back to it later, and you'll be like, man.
Well, those are some.
I've seen a lot of really, really good hounds go.
Mm-hmm.
They've been.
Well, I'm just going to roll it right into my next question, which is I like to ask. It's kind of a Mount Rushmore question, but if you could put together like a dream cast, of 4 hounds, and these could be hounds that are with us today or hounds from the past that have been gone for years and years. But if you could see one cast of 4 hounds, just the dream cast, what would those 4 hounds be for you?
I'm probably gonna put. There's gonna be. There's gonna be Bill and Hailstorm. They're gonna be in there. Matt McAllister used to have a female named Black Shadow. She was probably one of the best jump dogs I've ever seen, and I'll put her in there. And I'll put my Belle female because I want to see how she would stack against those 3.
Mm-hmm. Who wins that cast?
Oh, I think you could. I couldn't tell you. I think just depends on the conditions for that one, because all of them were just all hard hitting, hard hunting dogs, and that'd be a very situation dependent cast on that one. Okay, I don't know who would win. I'd like to see.
Yeah. That's a good answer. It depends on the day, depends on where you were hunting, what the conditions are. All those are factors.
That's with every one of them, but those four, I know they put on a show wherever you put them.
When you've been doing this for as long as you have, I know you've had some big wins, probably some tough losses, but what are some of your favorite memories, that really stand out to you from hunts you've been on over the years?
For a couple of the main casts I remember, and I actually think I lost both of them, was I remember my first nationals a lot. I think you were actually in that cast. I think it was my first nationals. It was me, you, Dave Hummel, and I forget who else it was. I want to say it was a young man out of North Carolina with you. And I remember it because my dog got on a split track, and I think I acquired about 10 checks on that scorecard, almost minused out by just checks. He was recovering them all, but I think I was acquiring almost enough minus in checks to minus out. Enough of the minus.
I got to tell you, I'd forgotten about that cast, and you were there, so you know why I wanted to forget about it, because I was hunting a young dog, and it took off after probably something fast, and there were people shooting, and I won't. To protect the innocent, I'll leave the names out, but I had to run in and grab my hound and run out as fast as I could. That was an adventure. I've had some frustrating hunts. That's probably one of my most frustrating. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, painful memories for me. I'm glad it was a good, memorable one for you, Jake.
I forgot about the other stuff. Like I said, I just remember I was sitting there and I was about like, man, I'm going to minus out on just checks.
Yeah, that was...
And then you hit a line that we missed the rabbit.
Yep.
Seen the rabbit, we missed that line. I was like, really?
Yep.
And then probably I had another cast. It was really fun. It was just probably one of the funnest casts I've ever been on. Just everybody got along and laughing. And that was, can't remember what hunt it was. I know it was out of Waynesburg. And it was me, my neighbor, a lot of people know him as Catmandu. A lot of people know him as B.J. Davis. Just tons of aliases, but he was on there. And then Brock Butler and Eli Watson was on that cast. And it was probably one of the funnest casts I've ever been on in my life. I don't think we stopped laughing and enjoying ourselves from the time we cut dogs loose till the time we caught them at the end.
Those are good hunts like that. Those are good hunts. Well, as you've been out there, I know you've seen some crazy stuff too. So this is maybe like a part B to that question, memorable hunts. But what's the craziest thing you've ever seen while you've been out hunting?
I've actually never seen nothing crazy. Like everything, like I hear people's stories from this one, and I'm like, man, nothing ever interesting like that happens to me. I've heard of a few good, interesting ones, but I'm just kind of sit out there and everything's the normal.
Hey,
we laugh and we joke and good times with like nothing wild or crazy is ever really like, huh.
Jake, if you hunt with people like Steve Moore and Ware and Vandergriff and Gould, you hunt with those guys long enough, you'll see something crazy, I promise.
I've heard of a few. Like I heard Josh Ware. He was telling me, I think it's my first eliminator I ever went to. He was telling me like how I think it was one of their casts. They ended up, the dogs chased the rabbit into a brush pile and a coyote came carrying it out. Carrying out the rabbit. And I was like, oh. Like, I'm like, nothing like that ever happens to me.
Oh, that's a crazy story. Well, it will. You do this long enough, something crazy is bound to happen sooner or later. But I want
to be the first one to know, Sam.
Thank you. Please, call me immediately and let me know. I'd love to know. I want to go back to what we talked about a little earlier, and really go back and talk a little bit more about those favorite hounds that you've had. And you talked about Bill and MJ and Elmer Fudd. Could you tell us a little bit more about why you liked them so much? I mean, what was it about them that made you like them? Maybe tell us a little bit about how they were bred, if you want to, or how they hunted. What made them? Because they're very much. I mean, they're titled hounds. I mean, these guys are like grands to the 2s and 3s or something like that, and won big hunts and those kind of things. But why are they special?
We Belle, Belle is one of those. She goes, hits hard hit female that you see, like I watched, whenever I learned her, I got to watch her, I'm like, man, I love how she does things. Like she's one of those, she'll work hard, she'll hit hard, find you rabbits, she uses her mouth right, she'll get to the front, be able to keep it, and then she knows how to gear down and work out of the track when she has to. She's out of Shenango White River Bill, and one of Jason Vandergrift's old Tory females. Mm-hmm. And then MJ, she is out of male, out of Jeff Stacy's Wild Man dog, and one of Jeff Stacy's females named Wine. Mm-hmm. And she's probably honestly out of those three the better of the jump dogs. That you'll cut her loose and she'll go grub, and every bit fouls until she had been through it. Very clean, very mistake-free dog. So I like watching her work. Mm-hmm. And Elmer, he's out of Rogan's Buck, and one of Owen D'Agostino's females out of Mongo. Mm-hmm. And he's a lot like MJ. He's a hard hunting dog that will grub and jump you rabbits. I've seen him jump rabbits that, like 3 dogs have been through this brush pile and got nothing. He went back through it and jumped the rabbit out of it. Mm-hmm. So he's a very clean dog and very nice foot.
So 3 very accomplished dogs, all out of 3 different lines of hounds. I mean, just bred very differently.
Yeah, they were kind of my 3. I got into it, and I got them, and I wasn't sure what bloodline I wanted to go with, so I tried them all.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, hey, why not? So do you have an up-and-coming hound, something that you're working on that maybe is not quite ready for the hunts, but coming soon, people should be looking out for?
I have 2 right now. I have a young female. She's about 1.5 years old. She's out of Heat 'em Up Spot and Randy Moore's dream female that he used to have. And she's she hunts hard, very clean dog, about medium speed. Mm-hmm. I have a 9-month-old male out of my Bell female, and Heat 'em Up Jake. He's coming along nicely. He seems like he's going to be a lot like his mother with the hunt and stay using his mouth right. And then my kennel partner, my buddy Logan Hamilton, he's been working them, but we got 2 in together out of MJ and Trevor McQueen's chief dog that he's been hunting and working. I know the female's a hard grubbing female like her mother, and the male, he is a very nice track dog like his mother, but I haven't hunted with them or worked with them too much to know much about them. So that's about what we got upcoming in the kennel.
Again, you got hounds out all kinds of different stuff. I love it. I love how you just go for performance, and you're not blind to a particular line or something. I love that. That's fantastic.
I see. My dad and my uncle were always, and they taught me growing up with the coon hounds, when you see something you like, it don't matter who the person behind it is. If you see something you like, why not get you a piece? And that's kind of how I've tried to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen some really good hounds get punished because their owners were not the they weren't what I call high character people.
Yeah.
Oh.
The hounds are great, but the owner,
I know. Well, I want to ask you kind of a different. I like asking this question too. I kind of think of it like when you go to the dealership and you order yourself a car, and you could draw it up any way you want. I want a 4-wheel. No, I'd rather have all-wheel drive or straight drive or automatic or whatever you want. V8, something 6 with turbos. This is your. If you could go build the perfect Beagle for Jake, I mean, what's that Beagle going to look like and sound like, and how's it going to hunt?
I want probably about 14 and a half, 14 and 3/4 tall, blanket back with tan legs and a tan head. Mainly, and then I want it to be a grubber. I like grubbers.
Mm-hmm.
I like grubbing hunting. I don't like I know you see a lot. You see some that are a lot like they hunt like a bird dog. I like one that you cut loose, it goes in all nice and shiny and clean and comes out red like you stabbed it.
Likes to get in the briars, not afraid of the briar patch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like them to use their mouth right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like them opening too early. But thing into, I don't mind a little bit of a gamble if they know they can run it. But still, I like them to be able to use their mouth right.
Mm-hmm.
I like one to be competitive for the front and can find it, but once they get to the front, not slack down and lose it and have to go compete for it again. Once they get to it, they can keep it.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically about it.
Mm-hmm.
But hunt's my most important. I hate whenever you cut a dog loose and it stands there and looks at you like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yep. You want to cut them loose and they throw rocks on you. They're digging, getting away from you so fast.
Yeah, like you cut them. I hate the ones you cut loose and they kind of look at you like, "What am I doing now?" Or they take, they mosey a little bit and then they go.
Yeah.
Or I hate one that runs path after path. They've checked about the path about 500 times and realized there's no rabbit there, but they're going to go check them again.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, I know you're competitive. I know you are. I know you compete all over the country at the highest level, all the way up to the world hunts. And is there anybody that you like to beat just a little bit more than everybody else?
Emmett Whipke and Kathmandu.
That was a fast answer. Why do you want to beat them?
I love both of them.
I got you.
They're both two of my best friends, but I just like whenever we draw each other to say that I got the W.
Oh, what are friends for?
Yeah, I love them both. And I do anything for them, but I do like to beat them both a lot.
Well, I started asking this question a while back, and I think it's an important one. It says a lot about the answer, the person that you put in the answer. But we all have problems. It may be a hound medical problem that you run into, or a training issue, or, we all have problems. But if you needed help with some kind of hound-related problem, and you could only call one person, who's that person you're going to call?
There's so many. I know the person I call now the most, whenever I'm just stumped on anything Beagles, is probably Josh Ware.
Mm-hmm.
But I do call Mitch a lot too and ask him his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard between those two. And then, because like I said, they both, if I have something that's just stumping me with this, I call both of them. And I can usually get the right answer. And then also, too, if I'm just stumped on something, me and my neighbor,
mm-hmm.
the cat, we talk probably daily about beagles, so we bounce a lot of things off each other.
Jake, it's great that you have so many people you can contact like that.
Very blessed by it.
Yes, it really is. There's folks that don't. It's pretty easy to answer because they may only have one person they can go to, but to have several that high quality folks to go to. That says a lot about your circle. That's a good thing, my friend.
Very, very blessed.
Well,
Blessed to have the people I got.
as you've roamed around the country, I know there's probably spots that you like to hunt more than others, but is there a place that you just like to hunt more than everywhere else? Or is there a favorite club or two that you have when you travel around that you kind of circle on your calendar? Oh, I love going to this place.
I do love Ohio a lot, but I like for the running and the rabbit population, I love Ohio a lot. But then again, too, once you get into like the people and you can't, and the scenery and the places to run, you can't beat looking over and watching a rabbit race and a Christmas tree farm in Tennessee. I think it's beautiful down there to run a rabbit and to look at. I do like going to Tennessee a lot and running Christmas tree farms.
It's hard to beat that backdrop when you're standing on top of a mountain and you can just look down the side of a mountain and watch them score and and then you look up the other side and there's another mountain and clouds and whatever. It's just beautiful up there. I'm with you on that.
I really enjoyed the few times I've gone down to Tennessee, and like you said, the backdrop, just listening to them run, looking at the Christmas tree farm and watching them run and seeing everything around you, and it's just pretty and enjoyable to go to and do.
If you could give advice to anyone considering getting into rabbit hunting, I mean, what would be some of the tips you would give them? And this may be a lessons learned. If you could go back and talk to yourself, when you were younger and give your own self some advice, what kind of advice would you give somebody considering getting into rabbit hunting?
Be a sponge. Find a good mentor, a good one. Learn what you can from them and don't be afraid to ask them any questions you have. If you think it's dumb and you ask it, because it's probably they might look at you funny, but if you have a good mentor, they'll give you a very good answer. Never feel like you've learned everything you can about these hounds. You can always learn more. And then start with go to one of your local clubs, find the local club and go to it, and find something that you like, your style, and then just go for that. Start with, I would not, like somebody new, I'd say not to start with a puppy. Start with an older dog that's running rabbits, a good older dog that's running rabbits. And then, like I said, just be a sponge. And then there too, now there's so much, we live in the age of content, and there's so much educational stuff out there you can find online. Example, this podcast here, you've had a lot of great guests on it that those new people wanting to come in or need advice, they can listen to and learn a lot from. Mitch has got the tailgate now that people can watch on Facebook. There's so much out there that they can listen to or watch, and you can learn so much from now in the age that we live in with technology and all.
I would have loved to have had some podcasts like that when I was starting out to listen to. UKC's doing some cool stuff. Mitch has a fantastic setup. There's some more and more, as each day passes, there's more and more content available. So, yeah, that's good.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because even just a couple of years ago, there really just wasn't nearly as much as there is today. So I feel like there's a little mini boom going on, which is good. The more, the better. It's more better.
Like the Coonhounds, they had a lot of content out, and then you started, and Mitch started. So the Beagles are starting, and Mike Green does one too every once in a while. So this and like you said, I wish I would have had this when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it
would have been nice.
We had a Coonhound Bloodlines and the UKC message forum.
That's it. That's it, and it's still going strong today.
Yeah.
Well,
it's amazing.
As you think about the future and maybe what the future hunters will face, what are some of the biggest challenges you think they'll face in the future?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be finding land to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's buying it up now in leases and all that. I think the land's getting sparse, and I think that's going to be our biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything else is in good
Mm-hmm.
with the environment and the competitors and all that. But I think the land is what's going to be the biggest issue for the future.
Yeah, I get that answer a lot. And it doesn't matter who I'm talking to, what part of the country they're in. Everybody goes back to access to good hunting land. I do think that's going to be a challenge. I agree with you. I want to ask you about it. I want to go back, and I was just sitting here while you were talking, thinking about it, but you were giving advice to maybe newcomers to the sport. And you mentioned getting a good older dog. Maybe you don't start with a young dog or a pup. Maybe you go buy an old dog that somebody has that's sitting around and not getting hunted as much as it used to, and maybe they're wanting to find a good home for it. What kind of money could you expect today to pay for a good older hound like that for somebody? I mean, what could they expect to pay?
I'd say probably 600 to 800.
Yeah.
Depending on one pet, probably about 6 or 800, I'd say.
And that'll get you a good broke hound that you could compete with,
Something over.
Yeah. Something steady that you don't have to go through the growing pains of trying to know all the rules and all that kind of stuff, and at the same time trying to teach your dog how to walk on a leash and load in a box and all that kind of stuff too. They're done. They're professionals. Good.
Well, you can get a pup to run it with while you're learning how to work the pup, but you're not trying to run a pup by itself, and that one to go back to. And
Okay. Well, this is one that I ask off and on. It depends on who I'm talking to. But since you competition hunt a lot, I wanted to throw this one in there. If you could add or subtract or modify or change any existing rule that's out there today, is there a rule that you would work on?
I'd probably work on two mainly. The one is the shockers and the beep. I'm for using them just for the simple fact there is a lot of older gentlemen who like to compete still and just make their lives easier to catch the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of want UKC to find a way, because I run a lot of PKC2 and ABC some. I wish UKC would find a way to change their lines, because the way they have it right now is it's not consistent, I think, because some people's circles could be different or how they score the circle could be different. I wish the UKC could find whether it be timelines or maybe something different they come up with, find a way to make scoring the lines more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way consistency across the board, not just like a personal opinion from somebody. Does that make sense?
Well, it does, but Jake, could you flesh that out for us a little bit more? So, how do they do it in some of the other registries that you think's a better way of doing it? I mean, could you give us an example or two?
But both the other ones used timelines. So, say from the time that you call that, like say the time that the dogs bark and the rabbit's up and running, and you know that the dogs are in on the majority of the track and it's a good runnable track and produced by a majority, they start the clock, and after a certain time on that clock, that's whenever you can score a line. So like PKC, it's a minute. So like once the dogs jump the rabbit, you call produced after a minute, you can score a line on it.
And for those that may not be as familiar, like compare that to like the UKC, how they do it.
And the UKC, they say the rabbit has to make a complete circle, which we all know what a circle is. But then again, I know like I've seen some that they'll score it on like different points of the circle, or like the rabbit has to make these moves
Mm-hmm.
before you can score it. Or like I've seen some where like the rabbit will come and then you ask, has it been enough for you to score it yet? It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of one of those. It's a different. Seems like it's a different outcome for everyone that I've ever seen go.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've hunted in the different registries, so you're familiar with these differences. So does I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question. Does the way that the other registries do it when it's based on time, does that affect the final score? Do you see higher scores in those registries versus the way UKC does it, or the other way around? I mean, does it? Do you see a difference in the scoring,
Uh,
or is it
Kind
about the
of.
same?
It depends on the spot
Mm-hmm.
and how the rabbit runs. If the rabbit runs, that's also could be a downfall to the way the others do it. Like if you got a real open spot,
Mm-hmm.
it can score it higher just because you're going to see the rabbit more than what you would in the spot that's maybe grown up with less pass.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
But then again, too, that's if you're hardcore moving.
Mm-hmm.
If you just kind of stay in the same area, you might get it to make a different turn to where you can see it maybe sooner and score it like that. So it kind of just mainly depends on the spot and how the rabbit runs.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where on a more open spot you could score more just by having it like it is, and you can see more of that spot.
Mm-hmm. Well, as we wrap up, I've got a couple more questions for you, Jake. But why do you do this? I mean, what keeps you going back to the field with these beagles? What is it about this sport that just really hooks you?
I like I like the competitiveness. I like meeting new people. I like going I like going all over the country to see different dogs and different, like how my dog would compete or run in different kind of terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, and not, and like I said, mainly just in meeting the new people. I've met some of the best friends I'll ever know in this sport. And I know people all over the world. I mean, all over the country,
Mm-hmm.
just because of a little dog out there that can run a rabbit.
Yeah. Yep. Do you think you'll be doing this 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I mean, is this something you'll do forever, as long as you're able to?
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will, I want to say yes, 100%. I'm about 95% sure because there's that 5% that you don't know what's going to happen in the
Mm-hmm.
future. I do hope to be, and I want to be competing 10 years from now, but again, I don't know what the future holds for me. Some major thing could happen that change my life, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll never touch a beagle again. So
Mm-hmm.
I hope not, and I foresee myself doing it 10 years from now, but I can't. I'm about 95% certain. There's still that 5% that anything could happen.
Hey, 95% is really good. That's pretty much saying, yeah, I'm going to be doing it 10 years from now. And I sure hope you are.
I do hope so, and I plan to, but you never know what the future holds.
Well, Jake, as we wrap up, is there anything that I didn't ask you about that I should have, or do you have anything that you'd like to promote?
If y'all need stuff, if anybody needs to buy anything, my dad just started his own dog vendor service. That's what the word I was looking for. It's called Woodland Outdoors on Facebook. He can get you whatever, and he usually has his trailer at a lot of our local hunts and some of the bigger ones in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need anything, look up my father. We can get you hooked up. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Well, now you said you could find Woodland Outdoors on Facebook, so that's the best place to look.
Yes, sir.
for your dad's outdoor
Look
supply.
on there or message me or my dad, and we'll get you hooked up.
And then you mentioned your local clubs. What's your local club?
My local club is Brave, PA.
Brave, PA. So if
Greene County Beagle Hunters.
Okay. And so if people are interested in coming up for a hunt sometime at your club, how do they find out about upcoming events? Do they have a Facebook page as well, or what's
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Greene County Beagle Hunters on Facebook. That is my local club. Like I said, we're here in Brave, PA. We're about 20 minutes south of Waynesburg and right on the West Virginia line.
No, it ought to be some good hunting up there.
We'll do okay.
That'll make you strong climbing those hills, I'm sure.
Oh, as a kid hunting coonhounds, you'll grow that not like looking at a hill down this way.
Jake, I want to thank you so much for coming on. This has been great. I've certainly learned a lot more about you and about the hounds that you have, and I just really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to let us learn just a little bit more about Jake Cumberledge. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Sam. It's been an honor.
Thank you for listening to Buff in the Rough, and remember to like and subscribe if you want to be notified when we have new content available. And please send comments and suggestions to buffintherough@gmail.com.